Hello, and welcome to Cutting the Clutter in Your Business Writing, What I've Learned. I did this assignment and I'm going to teach you the new things and things that I already knew. So, rule, don't draw excessive attention to yourself or the writer. So, don't use I noticed, I saw. Instead, say what you noticed and what you saw because you're the writer, you're writing, so it's obvious that you're the person that saw it. Nobody else. There's no need to state that. So, don't use words like I noticed and I saw. Instead, say what it is and cut that clutter out. You don't need it. Okay. Rule number 2. Don't use verbs that require helping verbs if a simpler form will do. So let's cut the clutter. Instead of the dogs were eating their food at 7 p.m. on Wednesday, say the dogs ate their food at 7 p.m. on Wednesday. So you want to eliminate words that aren't useful. Like this, all you have to say is the dogs ate their food. There's no need of making it more complicated and adding clutter. That's not what we want. Next rule, never start an independent clause with the word there. Instead of writing, there was a turtle crossing the road, write a turtle crossed the road. The next rule that I learned is never start an independent clause with the word it. An example would be, instead of it was a sunny day when the ice began to melt, cut the clutter, cut out it, and simply say, on a sunny day, the ice began to melt. It was a sunny day versus on a sunny day. This form is more simple. Another rule, don't use 2 or more action verbs when only one is needed. Instead of Aaron began to cry when his girlfriend broke up with him, say Aaron cried when his girlfriend broke up with him. Just get to the point. Next rule, cut the adverb implied in the verb. This is pretty much common sense if you want to cut the clutter. If something is implied, don't add on to it. It's not necessary. An example. Instead of he sprinted fastly towards his father, simplify it to he sprinted towards his father. One is enough to get to the point, which is the main objective in business writing. Next rule, use the short word rather than the long word when they mean the same thing. Simplify it. Instead of numerous, say several, and even better would be instead of writing several, write many. We don't need to take up extra time. We just want to be informative and say what needs to be said. The next rule is always be cautious of that. Instead of she thought that she was on time, that is not necessary, so write she thought she was on time.
Next,
Use an active voice rather than a passive voice. Here's an example. Instead of the floor was mopped by Andrew, write Andrew mopped the floor. This is what you would rather read than this unnecessarily cluttered sentence. Next rule we're going to be talking about is don't use phrases that add words and not meaning. Instead of due to the fact that, simply write because. Instead of at the present moment, simply write now. Next, avoid using qualifiers. Okay, just simply say it. Instead of she was so happy, write she was happy. Instead of he was very sad, write he was sad. Next rule. State personal opinions directly and without labeling them as belonging to you. Don't write I think, I believe, I feel. You're the writer. We know that you're writing it. So if you're going to state any of your opinions or beliefs, write down what those are. You don't need to say that they're yours because you're the one writing them. I hope you've learned a lot, and thank you so much for listening, and have a good day.